This day is a day that oftentimes I have a difficult ability to be able to say what I want to say. Memorial Day is something where the thoughts immediately rush to your head because we celebrate and honor on that day those who paid that highest price. But Veterans Day is a day where we celebrate and honor every single human being who wore the uniform of our country. Some of them we honor posthumously because we don't want to forget them. Some of them we honor who cannot be with us because they are infirmed or in some way incapacitated so that they can't join us. Some we honor who have been wounded and are lame and who bear those scars visibly, and some of whom don't bear the scars visibly, who can attend. And some we honor who never were wounded or never bore those scars, but no less served their country and gave their all, and we respect each and every one. And I don't know how many times we can say thank you, but it needs to be said over and over again, and it needs to be expressed in our deeds. If you are walking through an airport and you see a man or a woman in uniform, and you don't stop and take time out and go shake their hand and thank them for their service, shame on you. If you see someone in uniform walking down the street and you don't wave at them or holler at them or in some way acknowledge who they are and what they mean to all of us, shame on you. Now, I will acknowledge in our busy world sometimes we forget to do that. Sometimes I forget to do that. And if I notice it and if I forget to do it, I feel bad about it. And so should you. It's just a little bitty gesture, but it goes a long way in the minds and the heart of that member of our armed services. Surrounding you today are family members and individuals who have served this country all the way back to World War II to now. In this audience are people who are still serving our country today. And whether you're somebody that served in the 1940s or someone that's serving in 2011 or anywhere in between, on behalf of 3 million Arkansans, let me say God bless you and thank you. That's really all you can say is thank you. One of the greatest privileges I have as governor is to be the commander-in-chief of the National Guard. And they never cease to make me proud, whether they're deployed on active duty and sent in harm's way in combat zones around the world, or whether they're standing in the middle of a street at 2 o'clock in the morning with power lines whipping around them because the tornadoes just come through and they're trying to rescue people. But it's not just being commander-in-chief of the National Guard. It's having been an E5 in ordnance in the United States Army. It's having seen Marines who so proudly walk down that street with that beautiful uniform on. It's the airmen who come to the rescue with the fast movers or with the transports or anything else that take care of the GIs on the ground. It's those sailors who deliver us or soften something up. It's the Coast Guard who rescues us. It's all of the men and women who have ever worn a uniform that give and serve and protect our values and our freedom. And so that's what this day is all about. Sometimes I think I'm redundant because after I've done it for 4 or 5 years, you think, what are you going to say again? You've said it all before, and if you haven't said it all before, you should have. But you should never get tired of saying it. Our troops should never get tired of hearing it. All of us should always join together to recognize and realize that this debt is an ongoing debt, this obligation is an ongoing obligation, this tribute is an ongoing tribute that we should repeat every single day because it is the backbone of the freedom that we possess. All you have to do is think about this afternoon. 2 o'clock this afternoon down across it, we're going to bury Specialist Serena Butcher. She's 19. She was in Afghanistan, and we lost her last week. She's not the first, and unfortunately, she won't be the last. But she did what she believed she was called to do, to wear the uniform, to go into harm's way, and to serve her country. That's why those flags are flying at half-staff. That's why you should remember her and her family and all the others who have died in defense of our country. Kids ask me, you know how kids are, they'll ask you all kinds of things. Kids ask me when I'm in a group of them sometimes and they get in the question and answer mode, what's the hardest part of your job? The most difficult part of my job is to make that phone call to that mother or that wife. So far, I haven't made one to a husband. And I don't even have to make the first call because the Department of Defense does that. I can't imagine making the first call. It is no less a difficult burden. What do you say? You say, on behalf of 3 million Arkansans, we grieve with you and we acknowledge your sacrifice. We salute the service of your loved one. But those are pretty hollow words. I have in my desk drawer that quote from Lincoln where it recites that letter he wrote that mother during the Civil War who had lost 4 sons. From time to time I get it out and I read it. From time to time I read it in a public ceremony. It's as eloquent as it can be, and even it lacks words. Somebody as eloquent as Abraham Lincoln lacked the words to be able to fully express the sorrow and the gratitude our nation has for our fallen service personnel. Whether they're fallen on, and we honor them specifically on Memorial Day, or whether they're not fallen and they're still with us today, or whether it's their families who are here on their behalf because their loved ones have died of natural causes, we say God bless every man and woman who ever put on the uniform of the United States military. God bless you and thank you. Your country owes you, your state owes you, we owe you, and we are very grateful for your service. Thank you very much.